Hello, this is Lorenzo from Event Espresso, and in this video I'll show you how to set up a conference with sessions within Event Espresso. If you're planning a conference, symposium, or convention, then this video is for you. So I'll get started by entering in a title for our conference. Let's call this the Learning Conference. And next I'll drop in some details about the conference so we can take a look at this together. So again, this is a conference with a registration, and then there'll be some workshop sessions that an attendee can choose from. So here are the dates. So the conference itself, or the main conference, runs from the morning till the early afternoon, and then there are 3 sessions that a guest can choose from. Okay? The price for the conference will be $297, and we have a limit of up to 75 attendees. And then for the individual sessions or workshops, there is a limit of 25 for each. So there are 3 sessions to choose from. Okay? So those are the details. Let's go ahead and get set up with the first date. So we have the date set for September 14th at 10 a.m. So we'll click on the date time selector and then move towards September. Select the 14th, and then we're going to use the slider and move it till 10, and then I'll click on done. And now I'll select the end time, which is on the same date at 1 p.m. So I'll slide this back. All right, and then click on done. Okay, so we set up the main conference. Now we want to set up a date time for those sessions. So what I will do is duplicate this, and then I'll actually adjust the time. So we're going to move this till 2 for the start time, and then click on done, and set the end time at 4. Now we've set up the main conference and the first session, and then we have 2 more sessions to set up. So what I can do to save a little bit of time is to duplicate twice, and then what I can do is add in information about these sessions here. So we know that the first one will be the main conference. Then I'll add in some details about the remaining sessions. So I'll copy those details in. All right. Okay, so we've set up the main conference along with the individual sessions. Now let's get started with the registration. Okay. So we know that the registration fee will be $297, so we can enter in a price of $297. We also know that we have a limit of up to 75 guests or attendees, so we'll set that. The next thing that we can do is actually update the title, so we can say registration for conference. And now we need to set a sell until date. So let's move this into September. And then let's close this out the day before so that we can finish up our planning. And from here, we can actually create registration options for those sessions, okay? So what I'll do is just copy in the details for the first one, and then I'll duplicate this 3 times, so 1, 2, 3. And then I'll paste in the details for those remaining sessions. All right, and now we're on session 3, or I should say session C, which is the last one. And these sessions are actually included, so a guest can actually pick one of them, but we need to update the quantity. So you're probably asking why I did it this way. Well, if you look at these, the one thing that they have in common is the sell until date and the sale starts date. So instead of creating this from scratch, we can actually reuse some of those elements and then go back and edit the details. Okay, so we've just set up the dates for the conference, and then we set up the registration options. The next thing that we need to do is to adjust the access for the various options. So let me show you what I mean by that. What I'll do is now click on the gear icon here, and that will expand to show some additional options. So the date time, which is when an event takes place, if we once we expanded, we can see that this one is connected to a variety of options. And that's not what we're looking for. What we want to do is match it up with the connecting registration option alone. So we're actually going to disconnect it from this one, and this one. And those are the 3 sessions. And then I'll update the access for the remaining ones. So we know this is session A. So anything that isn't session A, we're going to disconnect. And then I'll go ahead and do that for the remaining ones. So now we're on to session B. So I'll disconnect the ones that are not related. And then we'll do this for session C. So I'll remove everything except for session C. Okay? All right. So one more thing that we actually need to do is to adjust this first option here. What I'm going to do is click on the advanced or gear icon, and then I'm going to set this registration option to required. And you'll be able to see what that looks like in just a moment. Okay, so we've set up the date times, we've set up the registration options or tickets, and we've updated the access. So now what I'll do is go up, click on Save Draft, and now let me follow that link onto the front end so you can take a look. All right, so let's take a look at this link. Here are the details that we used, and here are the registration options that are available. So earlier I touched on that I used the advanced options to set the main registration option to required. And the reason why I did that is these sessions, there's 3 choices, an attendee can pick one, but in order to pick one, we want to make sure that they are registering for the conference itself, right? So we don't want someone to just jump into the complimentary session without paying. So let's say I was interested in session C. I already have a selection for the main conference, so what I would do is select a quantity of 1 for session C, and then click on Register Now, and that would start my registration. So that is an overview of how you can create a conference with sessions in Event Espresso. I hope you found this video helpful, and thanks for looking.